Okay, settle a bet for me. My buddy John says democracy is the best system of government ever invented. I say it's just a popularity contest where the winner gets to screw everyone equally. Who's right? Because I've got 20 bucks writing on this, and John's been insufferable lately about his political opinions. Guy votes once and thinks he's Thomas Jefferson.
Democracy is a joke, my furry little friend. You know what democracy gave America? Two senile guys fighting over who gets to hold the nuclear football while the country argues about bathrooms. That's democracy. 330 million people, and the best we can do is grandpa versus other grandpa. Meanwhile, I'm in Sandy Shores cooking product, like a small business owner, and the government's worried about pronouns. Tell me that's a functional system. Tell me with a straight face.
In Westeros, we didn't pretend the common people had a say. At least our system was honest about the robbery. A king takes power through blood and steel, and everyone knows where they stand. Your democracy promises the blacksmith his vote matters as much as the Lord's, then arranges things so the Lord's gold buys 10,000 blacksmith votes anyway. It's monarchy with extra steps and worse theater.
So the problem is the lying. Because honestly, I don't care if they lie. I just want them to leave me alone. Let me drink my beer. Let me watch my football. Stop trying to make me care about things that don't affect whether I can buy weed legally. Leave me the hell alone. Is there a party for that? Because I'd vote for that party. Once. Then I'd go back to not caring.
There is. It's called Anarchy. And before you say anything, I know what you're thinking. Trevor, anarchy means chaos. Trevor, anarchy means violence. And I say, yeah, that's the point. You know what's worse than chaos? Order imposed by people who don't deserve to impose anything.
I've seen Anarchy. It's called the War of the Five Kings. Everyone declared themselves ruler. The small folk died by the hundreds of thousands, and when the dust settled, the same families were still in charge, just with fewer peasants to tax. Anarchy doesn't eliminate hierarchy. It just removes the rules that protect the people at the bottom from the people at the top. The powerful love anarchy. They can do whatever they want.
Okay, but here's my question. Has there ever been a government that actually worked? Like in all of human history, has anyone figured this out? Because it seems like every system starts with good intentions and ends with some guy in a funny hat stealing everyone's money while his people starve. Rome fell. Greece fell. The British Empire fell. America's having some kind of midlife crisis. What's the success story here?
The Mongol Empire. Say what you want about Genghis Khan, but that guy knew how to run things. You pay your taxes, you follow the rules, nobody bothers you. You step out of line, they stack your skulls into a pyramid and move on to the next town. Clear expectations, consistent enforcement, none of this wishy-washy democracy nonsense where the rules change every 4 years. The Mongols had a brand. Everybody knew what they were getting.
The Mongols also killed approximately 40 million people, which was roughly 10% of the world's population at the time. That's effective governance in the same way that burning down a forest is effective pest control, yes. The problem is solved, but so is the forest. I would argue that any system requiring pyramid stacking of human skulls has room for improvement. Call me an idealist.
You know what the real problem is? People. People are the problem. You could design the perfect system, balance powers, fair elections, transparent everything, and within 6 months, some guy would figure out how to game it for his own benefit. That's what people do. We're wired for it. We see a rule and immediately start looking for loopholes. Democracy doesn't fail because democracy is flawed. It fails because humans are garbage.
Finally, something we agree on. Humans are absolutely garbage. I say this as someone who has done things that would make a medical examiner cry. But here's the thing, Fuzzy. If humans are garbage, why do we keep designing systems that assume they're not? Democracy assumes people will vote for the common good. Communism assumes people will share. Capitalism assumes the market will regulate itself. All of these assume humans aren't selfish animals who'll steal the pennies off a dead man's eyes.
The trick is designing systems that account for human selfishness rather than ignoring it. Capitalism, for all its flaws, at least acknowledges that people will pursue their own interests. It attempts to channel that selfishness into productivity. The problem is that it channels it too well. The successfuls become so successful that they purchase the government designed to restrain them. Then you have oligarchy wearing capitalism's clothing, which is where America finds itself, I believe.
Wait, you know about American politics? How does a guy from a medieval fantasy world know about American oligarchy? Do you get our news in Westeros? Is there a Westerosi CNN? Actually, don't answer that. I don't want to know. The point is, you're right. The billionaires own everything. They own the politicians. They own the media. They own the companies that own the other companies. At this point, voting is just choosing which billionaire's puppet gets to pretend they're in charge.
In Los Santos, we're honest about the corruption. When I bribe a cop, I hand him cash and he looks the other way. Clean transaction. It's no pretense. In Washington, they call it campaign contributions and lobbying and speaking fees. Same bribe, but now there's a tax accountant involved. I respect the hustle, but I don't respect the lying about the hustle. If you're gonna be dirty, at least own it. Have some pride in your criminality.
In King's Landing, we called it gifts to the crown and expressions of loyalty. The language changes. The mechanics remain identical. Powerful people give money to more powerful people in exchange for favorable treatment. This has been true in every civilization I've studied or inhabited. The question is not how to eliminate corruption. That's impossible. The question is how to limit its damage. Some systems leak, others hemorrhage. America appears to be bleeding out on the floor while arguing about who left the window open.
All right, real talk. If each of us had absolute power, like total control of a country, what would we actually do? And be honest, no garbage about helping the common people. What would you actually do first day in office? I want the truth. We're all friends here.
Easy. Day one, I legalize everything. All drugs, all weapons, all the weird stuff that only involves consenting adults. Victimless crimes are gone. Day two, I abolish income tax. Government runs on sales tax and casino money. Day three, I declare war on Canada. Not for strategic reasons. Personal reasons. Unresolved issues. After that, I'd probably get bored and hand power to whoever could beat me in a fistfight. Natural selection of leadership. Clean, simple, honest.
I would drink better wine for a start. The cellars of any kingdom I ruled would be legendary. Beyond that, I would establish a council of advisors, selected for intelligence rather than birth. Clear succession laws to prevent wars. Investment in infrastructure the common people actually use. Sewers, roads, brothels with reasonable standards of hygiene. The basics of civilization that kings neglect because they're not glamorous enough for songs. Also, anyone who writes a song about me gets free drinks for life.
Okay, mine. First, I make weed legal everywhere, fully legal. Grow it in your backyard legal. Then I create a national holiday called Leave Me Alone Day, mandatory day off. Anyone caught working goes to jail. After that, I fund public education, but only for useful things. No more torture algebra. Teach kids how to do taxes, how to cook, how to spot a pyramid scheme, actual life skills. Also, free beer on Fridays, paid for by the military budget. We've got enough bombs.
I would vote for you. And I don't say that lightly, because I don't vote. I consider it beneath me. But a platform of legal drugs, mandatory relaxation, and redirecting bomb money to beer money? That's a vision I can get behind. That's leadership. That's a guy who understands what people actually want. Not world peace, not economic growth. Just the government, leaving them alone long enough to enjoy a cold one without some bureaucrat telling them they're doing it wrong.
You know what's remarkable? All three of those plans would produce a happier population than most actual governments have managed. Legalized vices, reduced workload, practical education, investment in pleasure rather than war. The peasants of Westeros would have traded their kings for any of us in a heartbeat, which either speaks well of us or very, very poorly of the alternatives. I suspect the latter, but I'll take the compliment. Another round, gentlemen.